Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to another weekly reading vlog. Hope you guys are all doing well. So, the name of the game in this reading vlog is to not get back in a reading slump. If you watched my reading vlog last week, I was in a very deep reading slump at the beginning of the week because I had just come back from vacation. I tried to read a bunch of literary fiction on vacation, which was not what I should have done for my reading life. And when I came back, I picked up a bunch of books that I thought were going to break my reading slump. If you want to see which book ended up breaking the reading slump, you can tune into last week's vlog. But this week, I want to make sure I'm not going to backslide. I don't want to go back to where I was. And so I'm picking up books that are always wins for me. And that, of course, is mystery thrillers. I have a huge number of mystery thrillers that I want to read this summer. Summer has always been popcorn mystery season for me, and I think that some of these are going to be winners. Hopefully will at least keep me out of returning to the reading slump. So without further ado, let's get into this ambitious TBR. First off, I have the new Riley Sager that came in. Bonus exclusive content only at Target. Who knew? So this is his newest release that came out couple of weeks ago. Of course, it's called With a Vengeance, and it's about, I think it takes place in the 1942, so like during World War II, and I think it's a locked door mystery on a train, so very much like Murder on the Orient Express vibes. It's been getting mixed-ish reviews. His last release, Middle of the Night, also got kind of mixed reviews, and I really, really enjoyed that one. So I think this could be a win for me. Next, there's another mystery that's been getting a lot of buzz recently. It's called The Ghostwriter by Julie Clark. This was a Book of the Month pick from last month, I believe. And I'm just going to read the synopsis just for this one. It says, June 1975. The Taylor family shatters in a single night when two teenage siblings are found dead in their own home. The only surviving sibling, Vincent, never shakes the whispers and accusations that he was the one who killed them. Decades later, the legend only grows as his career as a horror writer skyrockets. Ghostwriter Olivia Dumont has spent her entire professional life hiding the fact that she is the only child of Vincent Taylor. Now on the brink of financial ruin, she's offered a job to ghostwrite her father's last book. What she doesn't know, though, is that this project is another one of his lies, because it's not another horror novel he wants her to write. After 50 years of silence, Vincent Taylor is ready to talk about what really happened that night in 1975. Sounds really good. I do love the book within a book type of thing, so I'm not sure if that's where this is going, but Anthony Horowitz does that, and I generally really, really like it. Next, we have Heartwood by Amity Grace. This is about a hiker that goes missing along the Appalachian Trail. Apologize if you can hear my vacuum. And it kind of sounds like more of a literary mystery, but I always like missing people stories, so this just caught my eye, and it's been also getting a lot of good reviews. And finally, I went to Barnes & Noble maybe a month ago, and I only came out with one book, and it was a very weird book for me because I've never read anything by this author, and this author has written so many books, and I don't know why I randomly picked this up, but it is The Perfect Couple by Ellen Hilderbrand. I know that it came out as a Netflix series, so maybe that I had heard about it, and that's why I picked it up. This is about wedding season in Nantucket and the maid of honor being discovered dead, and it's kind of like a whodunit type of situation. So yeah, I think this is going to be really good. I'm really hoping that this is not connected to any of the other books, or I had to have read some of the other books to understand this, but I don't think so, as far as I understand. This is also a little bit of a chunky mystery, but we love a chunky mystery in the summer. So here are the very ambitious reading plans for the week. And I say ambitious because I go back to a week of service starting tomorrow. Today's Monday, so starting Tuesday, I go back to a week of service. I do get to work with residents again, which is very exciting. I love teaching residents. And I will be on the internal medicine wards. Honestly, it's my dream job. I absolutely love it. I spend half my time doing internal medicine wards and half my time basically in the newborn nursery. I could not imagine a better job for me personally. It's a perfect balance. However, My weeks on service are always extremely busy and my hours are always very long. So we will see what I can get to. Hopefully, it'll be a good week of reading. So with that, I have a few get my life together tasks before I go back to this marathon work week. So I'm making some Trader Joe's lasagna because why not? And I am going to clean up around the house, finish up a few things, and hopefully start one of my new reads. All right, happy Wednesday. I think I'm wearing literally the exact same outfit I was in the last clip, but I promise time has passed. I wanted to just say that I decided to start Ghostwriter. I don't have any thoughts because I'm on like page 10 or something. So I will give you some updates in a bit. But I did want to say that my Fern summer package came in. It has been very delayed. So the anticipation has been building and building for this one. So I wanted to open it. Fern is a seasonal perfume company that comes out with their small batch perfumes on the solstice, and they're all like very seasonal scents. I always love them. They send you a little tester, so you can open that first. If you don't like it, you can send it back, but it's like a subscription type of thing. A little on the pricier side, if I'm being honest, but it really, I'm a very seasonal person, and so when I get my Fern box, it really feels like we're in a new season, and so I was really excited this came in the mail, and I wanted to open it for you guys on camera. It's definitely a darker color than the spring one. That is really lovely. It's kind of like a spicy, citrusy scent. It actually smells a little bit like maybe spring. I think it smells similar to that scent, but I really liked that scent. So this is perfect. I really like it. So I'm definitely going to be holding on to it. They also send you a little goodie. Sometimes it's a tea. This one is a summer tea and chamomile flowers, orange peel, rose hips. So looks very nice. They sent me 2 little tea bags. I am definitely going to keep the perfume because I really like the scent of it. So I'll just open this up. And then you have the full size organic perfume. So very exciting. I'm going to Orange Theory later, so I'm sure I'm going to just smell like a grapefruit, and hopefully nobody is too upset about that. I also ordered the candle for summer. It's, I believe, the same scent, but I will open it. Yes, also the same scent, and I also really enjoy that. So I'll pop that up behind me for the moment. So yeah. What a lovely surprise to come home to. It usually gets, so it's supposed to get delivered like June 21st. So it definitely got delayed, but happy with what I unboxed. And yes, hopefully going to get a bit more reading done. I will keep you posted when I have some more thoughts. All right, happy Thursday. It is the 3rd of July. Tomorrow is the 4th. I'm having very weird feelings about the 4th of July this year. Usually I always celebrate the 4th of July, which is, of course, America's Independence Day. And I celebrate it because I'm the first American ever in my family. And so it's just, I don't know, it's something that I've always been, hesitantly proud of. More to unpack there, but yes, very proud of. But this year, I just, it's a tough day. I don't think that it's something that I'm really joyful to celebrate. I work in healthcare, and obviously there are lots of things wrong with the American healthcare system. There are lots of good things with the American healthcare system as well. But today was kind of a tough day because unfortunately, there was a big cut in funding for low income people in this country. And so I think it's going to be a really devastating impact. I hope it's not. I very much hope that there is, some way around it. But to me right now, it's kind of seeming like it's not headed towards a great place. And so it just feels like a tough day. So I don't know. I'm feeling a little conflicted, but regardless, that's a tomorrow problem. I guess I will figure out how I feel tomorrow. I'm working, so maybe I won't even have the emotions to like fully address what I'm feeling. But I just want to give you guys a brief update on Ghostwriter because I've made a little bit of progress. Currently am on page 80 or chapter 10. So maybe like a fifth of the way through the book. And beginning of this has been fine. Like, I'm not thoroughly impressed, but I'm also not like repelled by it. So basically this author, she's kind of like a disgraced author at the beginning. Her reputation's kind of in shambles. She doesn't really have a lot of money, gets this opportunity to ghostwrite a book of like her father's book essentially. And her father are kind of estranged and haven't spoken for several years, but her father requests specifically to have her ghostwrite his book. And her father has been very known for kind of being suspected but never charged for the murder of his two siblings. So she goes, kind of leaves her home in the Los Angeles area and goes to where her father is living and starts to kind of pick off the pieces, like pick out what is actually happening. He has written some notes that he gives her to like ghostwrite and get inspiration from. So it's kind of interesting getting those little bits. And there have been a few like jump scare lines or cliffhanger lines at the end of sentences where you kind of realize where the plot might be going and, build a bit of suspense. I don't know though. Like the main character isn't like totally gripping me yet. There's nothing in the thriller that's like really driving me in. But I am going to keep reading it. I think the writing overall is pretty solid. It's an interesting concept for a thriller. I don't think I've ever read anything with this similar concept. Although it is like a little bit of an odd concept to like ghostwrite a book for your own parent. I'm just not sure like how realistic that would be, that this person would actually take on this task. But then again, like her career is kind of in shambles and she doesn't have a lot of money and she's having to move out of her home. But I'm just not sure that this would be the job you take. But regardless, I'm kind of suspending disbelief and continuing on. So yeah, I'm going to read a few more chapters of this in bed before I head to sleep. I've been so tired this week. So I'm trying to go to sleep pretty early. As you can see, the light is still, it's still light outside, but I want to get a good night of sleep. So yeah, going to read a bit more and then call it a day. All right, guys. So unfortunately, I feel like the reading slump is still a little bit alive and well because I did finish one book this week that it seems like everybody loved and I had very mixed feelings about. But before I get into that, I do have like a million packages to unbox that came in the mail. So I wanted to quickly go through those and then I'll get into what I ended up reading this week. So they are all secondhand from Thrift Books. So let's see. Okay, so this first one is Stillhouse Lake by Rachel Caine. I've been waiting for this, so I'm very excited that this came in the mail. This is one of my most anticipated thrillers to read for the summer. And this is a novel about a woman who finds out that her partner is a serial killer, and it goes from there. But I thought the cover and the fact that it had a lake in the title and the cover design felt very summery to me. No. All right, this is Mockingjay, but it is the large print edition, and I have a thing where I cannot read large print books, unfortunately. So I'm going to have to pass this one along and buy the appropriate version of this. Yeah, that's very disappointing. Okay, perfect. This is Catching Fire. It's the paperback, and it is normal print. So it does look a little bit beat up, like the spine is cracked a couple times, but you know what? It works for what I want it for, so happy with this one. And then Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes also came in the paperback edition, and this looks good. It is brand spanking new, and it is the normal font size, so this should be a good addition. So overall, these will be a great little addition to the shelf. I just have to figure out what I'm going to do about Mockingjay, because I have had another large print book on my shelf for such a long time. It's All the Colors of the Dark, and I have not been able to read it because I just cannot deal with the size of the print. So anyways, that is the little book haul. So I wanted to wrap up this week's reading. So I did finish The Ghostwriter by Julie Clark. I ended up giving this one a 3 stars. That's a decent rating. This was a decent thriller, but a lot of the reviews on Goodreads, it has a 4.13 stars. Everybody is ranting about it. The most of the ratings are for the second most being 5, and I just felt like I read a different book. I felt pretty bored for the first part of it, and then the end had kind of a good reveal, but it was a little bit muddled, and I felt like could have done with a bit of editing, to be honest. And I don't know if this is the slump talking or me talking, and that's what makes it frustrating. Would I love this book if I read it a few months from now? Maybe, because I do think it had some interesting family dynamics and some really complicated, twisty relationships in it, but I just wasn't that engaged, unfortunately. This wasn't that propulsive for me. I did give it a 3 stars, though, because I think that the writing was solid and the plotting was solid. Again, I think could have done with a bit more editing, but I just, the actual enjoyment factor, I don't know that it was really there for this one, unfortunately. So 3 out of 5 stars. And I think I'm actually going to just close this weekly reading vlog and just make it a 1 week and move on to next week. Next week, I am planning to keep a similar TBR that I did this week and pick up a few of the thriller books that I didn't get to this week. So if you're interested in hearing my thoughts about some of the books that I talked about at the beginning of this vlog, but never got to, you can tune into next week's reading vlog, and hopefully I'll have made my way through a few more of those. But this week, for a lot of different reasons, mainly work and just me not having a super strong desire to read, I just didn't get to them. And you know what? That's okay. One thing I love about weekly reading vlogs is that they feel like real life, and I like my channel to feel like I'm just talking to you guys about my real reading life, not just the weeks when I read 6 books in a week, but the actual day-to-day, do I want to read after a really long, stressful day of work? And the answer is not always yes. And so that's why I like putting these videos out there, to show that that's a normal and an okay thing to do. So with that, if you did make it to the end of this video, I would love if you would leave me a ghost emoji for The Ghostwriter. And with that, I will see you guys very soon with another video. Bye.